the worm, dig through the ditches and burn through the witches and slam in the back of my take.
What is going on, guys? Caltrain back at you today with another video. More news came out today for the damn Lair of Darkness structure deck, and I don't know who released it because it doesn't look like a Konami picture. But shoutouts to whoever released this picture of the deck. We have a full deck list now of what's going to come out for this deck, and I am so fucking excited. But you guys better be ready because I'm about to go through this whole fucking list. I'm about to go through just about every effect summarized of every card that's in this. And get your popcorn, get your coffee, get whatever you need to do to have some attention span with this video because we're jumping right on in. First card is going to be Lilith, Lady of Lament. That's the one that you can reveal 3 normal traps from your deck. Your opponent picks 1, and then you set it. You have to attribute a monster to do that, though. Next, we've got Darkest Diablos, Lord of the Lair. That's the big dragon that special summons itself if it's in the graveyard or in your hand. When you tribute a monster for an effect, you can also use its effect to tribute a dark monster, and your opponent places a card from their hand on top or bottom of their deck. We've got Arima, King of Wickedness, which you can discard to add the Lair of Darkness field spell to your hand. You can tribute it to draw a card, or you can tribute another dark monster with 2,000 or more defense to draw, or to tribute a dark monster other than this card to add another monster with 2,000 or more defense from your deck to your hand. Ding dong. Next we have Duke Shade, the King of Umbra, which is the new card that actually got released, what was it, today? So you can tribute as many monsters as you want. This card gains 500 attack for each tributed monster. You've got Diablos, King of the Abyss, which is basically your Darkest Diablos, or your original form of Darkest Diablos, where it can't be special summoned. So your opponent takes you actually take your the top card of your opponent's card before they draw in their draw phase, and you can decide if it stays on top or you can put it on the bottom of the deck. Next, you've got Lich Lord, King of the Underworld, which if it's used for a tribute effect, it goes back to your hand instead of staying in the graveyard. Oh, we've got Prometheus, King of the Shadows. You can normal summon it, banish any monsters from the graveyard, and it gains 400 attack for each one that was banished. That's pretty nice because, you can normal summon it, it's already 1600, and you can just basically try and push for extra damage, push for game, do whatever you need to do, or it can gain those attack points, and you can use it for one of the virus cards, actually. Going into the next one, you've got Archfiend Emperor, the First Lord of Horror. You can normal summon it from your hand, but you'll have to have the attack and destroy it in the end phase. You can banish an Archfiend card from your graveyard, target a card on the field, and destroy it. I don't know if I should be giving you guys my opinion on if these cards are good in the deck or not, because personally I've never played any of these cards, so I really don't have an opinion. And I don't even have an opinion on the deck yet because I haven't really been able to play test it because of the lack thereof the field spell. But let's move on because I'm rambling on. Next, we've got Caius, the Mega Monarch. Can be tribute summoned with 1 tribute summoned monster on your field, and if it's normal summoned, you can target a card on the field, destroy it, and your opponent takes damage, or takes 1,000 damage. And if you tributed a dark monster to tribute this card, you can target 2 cards on your opponent's side of the field instead, so they'll take like 2,000. And if you destroy opponent's monster that's a dark monster, you have to banish. Your opponent has to banish all copies from their hand, deck, extra deck, and graveyard. So that's actually pretty good. I really like that they added Caius in this. I never really played it during Monarch format, but looking at Caius, there's a reason he's the Mega Monarch. Um, Next, we've got Legendary Maju Garzet, which will be special summoned from your hand by tributing all monsters you control, and it gains the attack of all the monsters that you tributed for it. So that's actually really powerful. It can be your game ender. Say like you have a bunch of powerful monsters on the field, this thing can get up to a crazy amount of attack, or you've just got a couple of tokens on the field from the field spell. You can tribute those. This will have just a little bit of attack. You can use one of the virus cards to affect your opponent and tribute this. You know, there's multiple things that you can do with this card, since it can be special summoned. Next, you got Vanity's Fiend, basically to where everybody knows what Vanity's Fiend is. Nobody can special summon monsters. I don't know why they would throw this in here, because I know you're doing a lot of tributing, but you also have monsters that can do a lot of special summoning in this deck, so pull it off. We've got Mist Archfiend, which you can normal summon without a tribute, but it's destroyed at the end phase, and you'll take 1,000 damage. So this would be a good target for some of your virus cards, in my opinion. That way, at the end phase, you don't take that 1,000, and you still affect your opponent with it. Next, we've got Infernal Dragon. So basically, if it attacks, it's destroyed in the end phase. If it's in the graveyard, you can special summon it by tributing a monster. I don't know how I feel about it, to be honest with you. We've got Archfiend Cavalry. If it's destroyed by a card effect, you can special summon an Archfiend from your grave, which is good because you've got a couple of Archfiend in this, actually. But at the same time, I don't know if tributing it would count as being destroyed, and I think when it comes to rulings, tributing is not destroying. So I'm not too sure about that one either. We've got Stygian Street Patrol. If this card destroys a card by battle, your opponent takes damage to that monster's original level times 100 points. You can banish it from the grave. You can special summon a fiend from your hand, which is fantastic in my opinion, because most of your cards in this deck are going to be fiends. You know, it's not. I don't really look at it for the burn damage when you destroy a monster by battle. I look at it as more as you can banish it from the graveyard and special summon it. Any fiend from your hand. So you know you can special summon your Lilith. You can special summon your Arium, or however the fuck you say his name, or any of your other powerful fiend monsters, and keep on pushing for more virus cards, for more tributing effects. You know, it's a combo extender, and I like it, to be honest with you. Next, we've got Phantom of Chaos, which is personally one of my favorite cards that I never knew about until recently. Not because of this deck, but because of some replays I was watching. This card's pretty fucking broken, in my opinion. But basically, your opponent takes no battle damage from this card, but you can target an effect monster in the graveyard. This card becomes that card until the end phase. So, you know, you can have basically any of your effect monsters in the graveyard. You can have this gain that card's effect, attack, defense, whatever. And, you know, you can push for destruction plays. You can push for basically anything that this deck is capable of. You can get your Trap Surge with Lilith. You can get your Lair of Darkness with Arium, whatever. What, I don't know. You know, you can get your Diablos effect of destroying a card, your Caius effect of destroying a card, and your opponent taking damage. You know, there's a bunch of different cards you can target, and this is nice, in my opinion. Next we have Plague Wolf. which basically you can double this card's attack until the end phase, but it's also destroyed in the end phase, so it's basically a target for your viruses. Just a little tiny monster. We've got Fiendish Rhino Warrior. Makes it to where your fiends can't be destroyed by battle or card effects. And if it's also sent to the grave, you can send another fiend from, I think it's your deck, to the grave. So you can get a bunch of your fiends in the graveyard and get their effects if that's what they need. Or you can get a fiend in the grave to use Monster Reborn, or what's that one? Soul Charge. Got Curry Bandit. Everybody knows what Curry Bandit does. You activate the top 5, you take a spell or traps, and the rest of the graveyard. You've got your Tour Guide reprint, which is actually pretty nice, to where you can special summon a level 3 fiend, but its effects are negated. Don't really like that in this deck because you really need all of your effects for this deck. Got Absolute King Absolute King Backjack. So basically, if it's sent to the graveyard, you can rearrange your top 3 cards of your deck, and then you can banish it from the grave and excavate your top cards. And if it's a normal trap card, you can set it and activate it that same turn. So basically, that turn and sent to the graveyard, you can rearrange your top 3 cards if you've got a normal trap on there. Put it on the top, banish it from the graveyard as soon as it gets there, and then set it, and you can also activate it that turn. So it's basically a 1-for-1, not 1-for-1 the card, but it's a +1. It's nice. You got your relink Karibo, which I'm happy that they actually threw in here because I always thought it was going to be a nice little tech card until they actually put it in here themselves. If it's tributed for an effect, you can draw 1 card, or if it's tributed for a tribute summon, actually, you can draw a card. And if any of your monsters would be destroyed by battle, you can banish this card instead of destroying that card. So that's it for your monsters. A bunch of fiends and a bunch of effect monsters. You've got a little bit of separation. Not separation. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. You got a little bit of variation. There we go. So let's get into our spells. We're going to start with the most important one, Lair of Darkness, the field spell. It basically turns every monster on the field dark. You can tribute your opponent's monsters for tributing effects on your side of the field, and the turn player basically gets a token each time they tributed something that turn for an effect. So you activate a couple tributing effects, you get a couple of tokens. You activate none, you don't get any tokens. It's nice. Because you can use those tokens for your tributing effects, and so far, from what I can tell, you can activate, or you can use those tokens for tributing monsters, because it hasn't said anything about you can't use these for a tribute summon. Alright, next we have Recurring Nightmare, which basically allows you to take two dark monsters from your graveyard and add them to your hand, but they have to be 0 defense. So you can grab a bunch of monsters in this have 0 defense. You've got your Backjack, your Phantom Chaos, Archfiend Cavalry, Infernal Dragon, Mist Archfiend, your Maju, Arium, Lilith. So basically more than half your monsters in this. That's pretty cool. Got Allure of Darkness. Everybody knows what that does. Draw 2, banish a dark. If you don't have a dark in your hand, banish your entire hand. The OCG is getting card destruction, and this is a 41 card deck over there, and I just believe they're going to pull this off for the TCG unless they plan on adding another draw card. So, don't know what they're going to do there, to be honest with you. Next one you've got is Foolish Burial Goods. Everybody knows that one. Take a spell or a trap from your deck and send it to the graveyard, which I don't know why they wouldn't just do Foolish Burial, because a bunch of monsters in this basically have the advantage in the graveyard as opposed to your traps or spells in the graveyard. Not sure if that was just a translation error or if that's actually burial goods, and that's pretty fucking stupid if it is. Oh, next card you have is Boogie Trap, which is actually something that makes me very happy they're putting in this deck. You discard 2 cards, and you can grab any trap from your graveyard and set it that turn, but you can't activate it, of course. So you can use any of your traps. You can use any of your virus cards, but my favorite would be grabbing what was it? Eradicator Epidemic Virus, the one that lets you target spells or traps. So you can activate it once, say spells, use your Boogie Trap to grab it again, activate it again, say traps, and your opponent can't activate spells or traps. So it'll be a nice little combo to lock your opponent out of spells and traps. Moving on, we've got Fires of Doomsday, special 2 tokens. They can only be used for a tribute of a dark monster. Can't special summon any other monsters that turn, but you can set, or you can normal set. So I don't know if you would want to use these special summon, or not special summon, tribute summon one of your powerful monsters, or I don't really know why this one's in here, to be honest with you. Yeah, you're gonna get tokens, but you're gonna get the tokens off of the field spell. Moving on, we've got Prohibition. You basically declare a card. That card can't be used as long as this card's on the field. But if that card is already on the field, whether it's set or already activated, that one is null and void. Getting into our traps, finally, we have the new Grinning Grave virus. So basically, you'll tribute a monster with 3,000 or less attack. Your opponent sends a card from their hand or deck for every 500 attack that it has. If it was over 2,000, though, you can check all cards they draw until the 3rd turn. This was activated and destroy all monsters. And if they go to the graveyard and they have graveyard effects that can't activate once they hit the graveyard that turn, very, very good. Which is kind of like the original Crush Card virus before it got, what's the word I'm looking for? The text got changed. I don't fucking know. I'm brain farting. It's fucking 10:30 at night. I just found this news and had to do a video instantly to get it out to you guys today. We're gonna get reprint a Crush Card virus. Speaking of which, you're gonna get Deck Devastation virus, which is the one where you tribute a 2,000 or more, and all monsters under 1,500 get destroyed for 3 turns. You've got your Eradicator Epidemic virus, which is your spell or traps. Got your Full Force virus, where you tribute a monster with defense, and your opponent loses all monsters with 1,500 defense or less. I don't understand. I mean, I do understand, because it's just extra cards that you can destroy. But if you're gonna run Grinning Grave virus now, why would you need all of these other cards except for Eradicator Epidemic virus? I don't know. I mean, I get that you can also tribute your opponent's monsters to activate these cards, and basically the biggest troll to tribute your opponent's monsters tribute your opponent's monsters to make them destroy their own monsters. Excuse me, sorry, I had to get comfortable in my chair. This video's going on for a fucking long time. I'm so sorry, guys. Back to trap cards. Where was I? I'm so sorry. We've got Dark Light, which basically you tribute a dark monster with 1,500 or more attack, destroy all special summon monsters that turn. which is another trolley card because you contribute to your opponent's monster 1500 or more attack and destroy other special summon monsters. So if they've got like link monsters out or fusion monsters or stuff like that, tribute their cards, make them destroy their cards. I love that shit. I can't wait for this deck to come out because I just want to be a super troll with it. Trap of Darkness. Pay 1,000 life points if you're under 3,000. Banish a normal trap from your graveyard, and this card becomes that trap. Very nice again for your virus cards. And that's basically it in my opinion. You've got Mind Crush, so you basically declare a card. If it's in your opponent's hand, they discard all copies. If they don't have it, you discard one random card. Rise to Full Height. This one I don't understand too much, but then again I do. Target one monster, double its defense, but at the end of the turn, its defense becomes 0, and that's a lingering effect, not just until, X amount of turns. You can banish this card from your graveyard, though, and your opponent can only attack one monster you target on your side of the field, so that's pretty nice to kind of stall out or, make them attack that monster to destroy it and use its effect or something like that. So I kind of get why a couple of these trap cards would want to be in the graveyard with Foolish Burial Goods, but at the same time, just fucking activate them, and then you'll just get to banish them. You get the double effect. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Again, I'm fucking tired. Curse of Darkness. Good old. This is a pretty old card. I remember playing this back when I was playing 10 years ago. Basically, each time a spell activates, the user takes 1,000 life point damage. So, you use the Eradicator Epidemic Virus and say you can't use traps. So if they want to activate their spells, they take 1,000 damage. But the only problem is you'll take 1,000 damage because there's a bunch of spells in this deck that you'll want to use. So I mean, it'll be helpful, but also not. I don't know. And your last card to go over, number 41, is Sinister Your Shiro. Continuous trap card. Level 5 or higher fiends can be summoned without a tribute. And if it's normal summoned, or if a normal summoned fiend would be destroyed, you can send this to the grave instead. So you don't have to do any tribute summoning. You've got hella fiends in this deck, You normal summon them. You've got big ass motherfucking fiend monsters on the field. You can use for your epidemic virus. You can use for any of your virus cards, to be honest with you. You can use for tribute fodder. No, you can't because I'm an idiot. It's normal summon, so you can't tribute summon again unless you run double summon. You're basically all running fiends and zombies in this deck. And with a little bit more fine tuning after this comes out to where you'll build it the way you want with 3 copies. Is it going to be effective? Possibly. But at the same time, I don't know if it'll be worth the deck space. Unless somebody figures out like a 60 card variant for this, which would be fucking nuts. But I feel like this will be a 40 card. You can't play Yu-Gi-Oh deck. So guys, that's it. All 41 cards. I haven't seen anybody cover this story yet because I don't know if it was supposed to be a release tomorrow, March the 8th, because it's got the March 8th date on it, but it's still the 7th as of recording this video. So I don't know if it was a fuck up on YGO organization or if, I was able to get it early somehow. I know I'm not fucking special though, so there's a couple of articles that came out March 8th, so I don't know if this is like I don't fucking care. You guys can go ahead and look at the article itself. I'll leave the link in the description. And I hope you guys are looking forward to Lair of Darkness because I know I'm picking up 3 copies and building a super trolly deck. If you guys enjoyed the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Show your boys some support. If you have any opinions on today's topic or any future ideas you have for me, go ahead and leave them all in the comments below. And if you enjoy my content, be sure to hit that subscribe button to check out my weekly content on this card game we enjoy. That'll be it for me. I'll catch you guys next time.
Through the